Tonight on DC News Now, water gushes down U Street, causing damage to businesses ahead of the weekend.
The water went inside and came all the way up to a little over waist high.
Hear from those impacted business owners tonight. President Biden and Donald Trump back on the campaign trail following quite the memorable matchup. How are voters feeling after last night's performance?
Thunderstorms are on their way for the weekend. We'll let you know who could end up seeing some severe weather.
Will you take a dip in the Anacostia River?
I would absolutely jump in. I've definitely jumped in worse.
For the first time in 50 years, swimmers are getting the chance to legally brave the water. But why now? And crabbing controversy. A vote this week could mean a new way to track crabs for commercial fishermen in Virginia. But hear why some are already fighting against the change.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan. All right, let's start tonight at a live look at the U.S. Capitol on this Friday night. Looking pretty out there, isn't it? Our weather team expecting showers and storms in our forecast for the weekend. So let's get right to meteorologist Damon Matson in for Janessa tonight. Damon, nice right now. It's actually beautiful out there, but we could see some storms over the weekend.
Indeed, Chris. Yeah, fantastic for right now, and that is what we can enjoy. That sunlight just going away from the horizon there. We love these late summer evenings, especially when we have comfortable temperatures like this. My goodness, we're still in the upper 70s right now. We only reached the 80s earlier on, so it never got too warm throughout this Friday, and this is a nice comfortable setup we can carry as we head into the night. But it's a sign of things to come as we go into the early morning hours on your Saturday, the start of the day. It's going to feel quite warm and quite muggy as well, with temperatures still there in the 70s. We're going to have a good amount of cloud cover because that moisture is building up in the air. And then as we head toward the afternoon on Saturday, the ingredients will start to line up. We'll have heat, we'll have humidity, and we'll have a frontal boundary approaching the area, sparking up scattered storms tomorrow afternoon, and some could be severe. Right here in the yellow, we have a level 2 risk for that severe weather in place across western Maryland, portions of West Virginia. This is where we're most likely to see any sort of severe activity, while closer to DC I-95, not looking as likely. However, Sunday could be a totally different story. So we'll time out when and where these severe storms could pop up on Saturday and Sunday both, and what impacts you might be expecting from that coming up, and a look at your full forecast in just a bit.
DC News Now is your local election headquarters. President Biden and former President Trump held dueling campaign rallies following that historic debate last night. Trump was in Virginia, President Biden in North Carolina today. DC News Now's Tosin Fakile joining us in studio tonight. And Tosin, both candidates and a lot of members of Congress had a lot to say about the debate.
That's right, Chris. You could have called it a memorable debate at that. Mostly criticism going to Biden and praise for Trump. While out campaigning, both candidates gave their assessment of their performance last night on the debate stage.
No, I'm not a young man. State the obvious.
A poor debate performance by President Biden during Thursday's 2024 presidential debate, and even he knew it.
I don't debate as well as I used to, but I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth.
Former President Trump calling his performance a success.
We had a big victory against a man that really is looking to destroy our country. No amount of rest or rigging could help him defend his atrocious record.
During Thursday night's debate, both candidates answered questions on major issues like abortion rights.
We brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
It's been a terrible thing. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions.
But the night wasn't without stumbles.
The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers. President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Now some in Congress already drawing conclusions on the outcome of the November election.
President Biden will make his case to the American people, and he'll be reelected.
Congratulations to President Trump. Job well done.
Some Democratic lawmakers say the president's performance shouldn't end his campaign, while House Speaker Mike Johnson says Democrats should seriously consider invoking the 25th Amendment. The vice president and a majority of the president's cabinet would have to vote to invoke the 25th Amendment, and that's never happened. Chris?
All right, Tosin Fakile live in studio. Tosin, thanks. All right, happening tomorrow in the district. What was once considered one of the most polluted rivers in the entire country, well, it's now flowing in the right direction. Tomorrow, swimmers will make a splash jumping right here into the Anacostia River. It actually marks the first permitted swimming event in the river in decades. DC News Now reporter Marielle Carbone takes us to Kingman Island, where advocates say years of cleanup is finally paying off.
Head out to Kingman Island on the Anacostia River and you're met with some serene views.
We're in DC, but you don't feel like that when you're here.
The nature, the habitat is really wonderful out here.
Despite the beauty, some say the river itself and the water quality is questionable. Do you think that the water's clean enough to swim in?
I would absolutely jump in.
No, it's a no.
No, because you can't see even 3 or 4 inches in it.
It's been illegal to swim in the Anacostia River since 1971 because of pollution concerns. Now, 50 years later, advocates finally say it's safe enough and clean enough to jump in. Saturday, dozens are expected to make a splash, jumping in the river for the Anacostia River Splash. It's the first permitted swimming event in the river in more than 50 years.
The water quality indicators say that it's safe.
Chris Williams is the president and CEO of the Anacostia Watershed Society, one of the many groups that have spent the last 3 decades cleaning up the river.
It was polluted by sewage, trash, industrial pollutants. All those industrial polluters I mentioned, most of them are gone now.
Changes to DC's sewage system and efforts to keep trash out have also helped.
I am jumping in tomorrow.
Still, he understands why some are hesitant.
The river's been in bad shape for a very long time, and there's still work to be done. We've got to do a lot of outreach and education with folks to let them know that the river is indeed getting cleaner.
As for those watching from the shorelines,
You know, the brave ones can start the trend for us, and then we can see how things go from there.
I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, best of luck to all those swimmers. And a reminder, it's still illegal to swim in the river unless it's for a permitted and sanctioned event through the Department of Energy and the Environment. You can find more information on the splash on our website. That's dcnewsnow.com. In Northern Virginia, repairs to a 14-foot sinkhole in Arlington, well, it'll take longer for crews to repair. They say it could actually be several days before traffic in that area returns to normal. This is going on along Wilson Boulevard near the busy Ballston Quarter. Now, county crews discovered that hole earlier this week and started to work to fix it. County says it's still not entirely clear what caused the sinkhole. That remains under investigation.
This is a pretty congested area all times of day. So, you know, I know Arlington County will do their best to fix a problem that, you know, they didn't create. Things happen.
And just a heads up, that sinkhole is right by the Quarterfest Pride Crawl, which takes place in Ballston tomorrow. So if you're heading there, just be aware. All right, developing in Maryland, a Hagerstown woman now in critical condition after her trailer burst into flames. This happened at a mobile home park last night. Firefighters were able to get that fire under control in about 10 minutes or so. But as you can see here, there was a lot of damage. DC News Now spoke to a man who actually survived that fire. Take a listen.
It got so hot in there that the couch melted, the chair melted. My wife's got so much smoke in her lungs, and she's already got MS, so they have her sedated on living on its oxygen machine.
We're told that 69-year-old woman is being treated tonight at the Johns Hopkins Burn Center in Baltimore. No word yet on what caused the flames. On Capitol Hill, the Supreme Court has sided with the January 6th rioter seeking to have the obstruction charge against him thrown out. That decision now makes it harder for prosecutors to charge other riot defendants with obstruction. Now, that's one of the charges former President Trump is facing. Attorney General Merrick Garland calls the ruling disappointing, but is promising to comply. He says the decision will not impact the vast majority of January 6 defendants. The district is making strides when it comes to pay transparency. Starting soon, employers will be required to include pay ranges in all job postings. will also become illegal for a D.C. employer to ask a job applicant for his or her wage history. This new law takes effect on Sunday. Metro rail and bus fares go up starting Sunday as well. So here's how it'll work. Take a look at your screen now. Metro rail fares will range from $2.25 to $6.75 on weekdays, depending on distance traveled. After 9:30 p.m. and on weekends, Metro rail fares will range from $2.25 to $2.50. Metro bus fares will cost $2.25 and express bus fares will cost $4.80. The fare hikes come as Metro faces a $750 million budget shortfall. We asked Metro riders how they feel about the price hikes.
I think public transport should stay cheap. It's public transport. I am happy with it because I appreciate supporting the Metro.
Riders who use senior Smart Trip cards and reduced fare programs will still get 50% off their trips. Developing now at 9 on a busy D.C. corridor, a water main break causing 30 businesses to lose water. Several became flooded. The water seen gushing out on U Street here. That's near the corner of 14th today. That's where we find D.C. News Now reporter Daniel Hamburg. And Daniel, is certainly not good for business, especially on a Friday.
No, Chris, it is not. Not only for the beauty places that we were at, barbershops and nail salons, but also some bars on the street. Right behind me, you can see that these crews are hard at work right now, and this will not be a quick fix tonight. In this video, it may look like a puddle on the sidewalk, but it's a pool of water covering the stairs underneath.
It started coming from the bottom of the first step.
The cause? A break in a 6-inch water main. Joseph Keller was inside his barbershop when he noticed the water rising outside the door, so his staff and customers left through the back.
The water was brown, so brown we didn't know if the water was toxic or any type of stuff in it to be unhealthy.
Next door, Angel's Brow Shaping owner Anjana Bashal and a customer were also caught off guard.
I tried to stop the water, but it was not. I was not able to do it. And then customer was scared. They just say, oh, let's go out. No, it's gonna be something happen.
As they now try to clean up, it's a hit to their bottom line.
I had a lot of customers because today is Friday. We are mostly busy day.
Keller says DC Water will reimburse them for damages, but it's not going to be a quick fix.
I don't even want to use none of that equipment, really, that been damaged and that the water didn't touch, because I don't know what type of bacteria that have been on that water. It's just gonna have to close down until I can get everything gutted out and cleaned up.
Now, he tells me that he does have insurance, and of course DC Water is going to help out, but it will be probably at least several days before he can get back in there and hopefully back to business. These guys will be out here, it looks like, for a few more hours here as they repair that water main break. We're live in Northwest. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.